It was tough, yeah, I think. Tough pill to swallow, but it's a reality of the business. I knew I was an NBL player. I think at the end of the day, like, I felt like I put so much into it, you know, why quit now? Family and I, we migrated to Australia in 2001. I was born in Gambela, Ethiopia. My parents are South Sudanese, and you know, just through conflict and war, you know, they left South Sudan to provide a better life for myself and siblings. And yeah, we landed in Perth, Western Australia. The academic side was pushed by my parents very hard because, you know, they never had the opportunity to study. Coming over here, they saw education as, you know, the gateway to kind of push forward and excel our lives. But as a kid, all I wanted to do was play sports and, you know, gravitated towards football, soccer, skateboarding, whatever you can name, you know, I was playing it. Coming out to a new country, you just don't know what you're going to do and you don't know who you are really. So just trying to find as many friends as I can, and sports was able to do that for me. So my first, you know, junior program playing was under 18s Division 2 for East Perth Eagles. I was 17 at that time and just progressed really quickly. Obviously, being new to a sport, you know, the learning curve is just really steep, and my progression as a basketball player just like went like a hockey stick. That second year, you know, I had a pretty good year again. I made the under 20 state team, went to the nationals. We finished, I think, 5th, had a pretty good nationals, and came back, and then later on that year I was a development player for the Perth Wildcats. So it was a pretty quick transition, you know, in the space of 2.5 years. I go from picking up a sport to, you know, now training with, you know, some of the best guys in Australia. I think that work ethic just comes from my family. Seeing my mum work 2 jobs when I was younger. Throughout my teenage years, there was rarely times that I saw her for long stretches. So I think seeing her work so hard just to provide for us kind of instilled that in me, like, hey, look, whatever I do, I've got to work. And starting basketball like late as well kind of pushed me to like, hey, I'm so far behind these guys. What can I do to catch up? And just working twice as hard as them, or, you know, winning every race, trying to win every shooting drill just kind of pushed me to become that much better. And like I said, in a short amount of time, I was able to progress really quickly just with that attitude.
Like if you shoot it over me, then that's fine, but I just want to block. I don't know why, I've never been a shot blocker in my life.
Tough, man. Threes? Nah. I'm good at blocking middies. One thing I wish you would get like Look, it's a tough process, and that, I think that's a new journey in itself, right? And, you know, when I finished my senior year at Barry, you got to find an agent, you know, and you got any and every agent telling you, hey, I can do this for you, I can do this for you, like, come sign with me. at the end of the day, you got to go with ones you trust, you know. And I think there was my first agent was out of Australia, and yeah, he was kind of just like, hey, look, if you sign with me, like, I'm not going to guarantee you anything, but I can get you in front of them. And I was like, that's all I need, you know. I've fought for everything I've had, and just, yeah, give me an opportunity. I signed with him, and he brought me back to Australia and flew me to Cairns right away to work out for them. It didn't work out in Cairns, so then I flew down to Brisbane, worked out with the Bullets. Didn't work out there, and then, you know, at the time I thought I did great, you know, and I think I was definitely ready to be an NBL player, but the opportunity just wasn't there. It was tough, yeah, I think. Tough pill to swallow, but it's the reality of the business we're in, you know, and I think I felt like I put so much into it, you know, why quit now, you know? I knew I was an NBL player, you know, and I believed it, and all I wanted was just a chance to kind of prove myself. And if I got my opportunity and blew it, then I know I gave it a crack, you know what I mean? So for me, it was never even a question. It's what I wanted to do, and I had to do it. So yeah, like, that was normal. It wasn't any other, there wasn't any other choice really. You know, I kind of already put my eggs into being a professional basketball player. Agent was like, hey, look, I've got two more options. You know, I can fly to Sydney, you can work out in front of them, or you know, you can head back to Perth, and they don't have a spot, but they've got a training player spot, and then which can then lead into a contract the next year.
The best power forward in this league.
Cotton goes over the top of the hole, and there are the first points in the NBL for Sunday Dech.
At that time, we had a fair few injuries that year. Like Damon would miss a couple games, Bryce missed a couple, Mitch Norton missed a couple, and I was able to kind of step in, and you know, the coaches had faith in me that I could kind of fill that void for the time being.
Steindl fakes and finds Vague, who is blocked baseline by Anderson. Dech.
We had a semi-final series against Brizzy, and I think I subbed on, made two big threes at home in front of RSC, and that was just unreal feeling. And yeah, that kind of just gave me huge confidence, knowing that, hey, look, like I can do this.
If there was anyone unaware who the greatest NBL club of all time was, you know now. The Perth Wildcats have proven it again. 1-4, away from home, against all odds. One import down, and they've done it in emphatic style.
Sunday Dech will move on. He'll end up at the Illawarra Hawks on a 2-year deal. That's a big decision to leave that club.
You know what that's calling? Betting on yourself.
The decision to leave was just to solely play more. When I signed, I was like, great, you know, I'm going to get a lot of opportunity. And then we signed LaMelo. Then we signed Aaron Brooks, and I'm just like, oh no, what's going on? So that was, yeah, a mental battle in itself. They're playing ahead of you, you know, and you just run the bench. I didn't know what to do, and turned to my, you know, close friends and close circle, and they were just like, hey, you got to keep working, you got to stay in the gym, because once again, like I was when I came back from college, there's an opportunity, and it could be this small, but once you break the door open, you know, the floodgates generally open.
Sunday Dech out there in his first minutes tonight. And there he is off the pass from Conrad. Nice play by the Hawks. Over has the Hawks in possession. Dech is wide open. What a start to the second quarter for the visitors. Dech to repeat the dose, and he does. Blanchfield ready to unload himself. He misses. Sunday Dech undersized against Nate Jawa. Apple off a great first half. He's off target. Dech gets it back and nails another deep ball.
What do you think are kind of the biggest adversities you've had to overcome in your career to get to where you're at today?
One of them could have been not getting a contract early on, and going to Perth and being a training player. The second thing could be not playing as soon as I got to Illawarra and having to work my way back up, and I think those two challenges enabled me not to be complacent, not to be happy just being here, but to want more and seek more for myself, and when the opportunities came, just to grab them and run. So I'd say they're probably it, and maybe just the mental battles, I think the daily mental battles of, hey, am I good enough? Do I belong? Am I doing the right thing? They're questions we have every day as athletes, and I think people don't see that, and they see us in games and we're smiling and everyone's got, happy when we win, sad when we lose, but there's a lot that goes into it, and it's, yeah, I guess when you're at home, you're by yourself and you're thinking like, man, have I done enough? Have I done enough to kind of keep this going, keep this rolling? And the answer is yes. I think I have, but it's still always there. And I guess how you talk to yourself is probably the biggest key to being a successful basketball player. Yeah, obviously it doesn't stop. I think it gets harder because now you've got a foot in the door. You've got to stay because teams always looking for the next best player. Players always pushing to try and take your spot and not get complacent. For me, like I want to be an all-NBL player. So my next goal is obviously keep working and be one of the top 10 in my position in the league. There's the first team and the second team, and that's the 1-2 spot. And at that spot, it's really hard. There's imports, there's Boomers players at that guard spot, and it's one that, I think my next progression is to kind of crack that top 10 in those 2 spots. And then obviously just represent South Sudan at the World Cup and win some games. That's my goal.